public-private partnerships, PPPs, by the National Treasury and Economic Planning for the financial year 2023-24. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. Honorable Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is regarding the facilities at the Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the deplorable state of health services at the Mama Lucy Hospital in Nairobi County. Particularly in the maternity wing, reports indicate severe overcrowding with as many as 5 patients sharing a single bed. Additionally, there are claims that patients unable to fully access necessary facilities are still being charged for services they could not utilize. Mr. Speaker, sir, the situation raises serious concerns about the dignity, safety, and well-being of the patients relying on the hospital for essential maternity and general health care services. It also highlights broader issues of inadequate healthcare infrastructure and staffing at the facility, which falls under the responsibility of the county government of Nairobi. In the statement, the committee should, 1, report on the extent of overcrowding and the strain of facilities at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, and provide a report on the noted constraints to service provision to Kenyans. Number 2, outline the measures being taken by the county government of Nairobi to address the overcrowding, including immediate interventions and long-term plans to improve healthcare infrastructure and services at the hospital. Number 3, clarify the steps being taken to ensure the patients are not unfairly charged for services that are unable to access due to current constraints. And the last, number 4, recommend measures in how the national government, through the Ministry of Health, can support the county government in improving service delivery at Mama Lucy Hospital. Mr. Speaker, can I read the second one? The second one is the lack of dedicated prayer room for Muslim students at Moi Girls High School in Kibra constituency, Nairobi City County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the lack of dedicated prayer facility for Muslim students at Moi Girls High School, Kibra constituency in Nairobi City County, despite Christian students having a designated space for fellowships. Mr. Speaker, this issue raises concerns about religious inclusivity and equity in public institutions in the country. It is important to ensure that all students, regardless of their faith, have equal access to facilities that support their religious practices as guaranteed by the Constitution. In the statement, the committee should report on the steps the Ministry of Education is taking to provide Muslim students at Moi Girls High School in Kibra constituency with a dedicated prayer room, similarly to the facility available for Christian students. Number 2, clarify the ministry's policy on ensuring religious inclusivity and equal access to facilities for students of all faiths in public schools across the country. And number 3, provide a time frame within which the ministry will address this issue and ensure that the Muslim students have a proper space for prayer and religious activities at the school. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to read my statement on the alteration of the Taita Taveta County and Kajiado County boundary. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations regarding the alteration of the Taita Taveta County and Kajiado County boundary at Rombo Ranch, following an agreement between the respective county governments on 4th July 2020. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide details of all registered boundary disputes that informed the alteration of the Taita Taveta County and Kajiado County boundary at Rombo Ranch. 2, disclose the details of public participation exercises undertaken by the respective county governments in respect of the boundary alterations and venues of the exercises, as well as the names and national identification numbers of participants. 3, clarify the agreement entered into by the two county governments on 4th July 2020 in respect of the boundary alteration is legally binding. 4, indicate whether the agreed upon boundary alteration was deposited with the Survey Office, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and other relevant government entities. And 5, state whether the process of boundary alteration complied with the legal framework for alteration of county boundaries, and if not, explain any remedial steps taken to revert to the originally delineated boundaries. Mr. Speaker, I have another statement. This statement is on the operations of Tavevo Water Company in Taita Taveta County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Lands, Environment, and Natural Resources regarding the operations of Taita Taveta Voi or Tavevo Water Company in Taita Taveta County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, inform the Senate the billing calculation formula used by the Tavevo Water and Sewerage Company to bill its customers. 2, explain the different classes of water billing, including but not limited to urban and rural consumers, large and small scale and small volume consumers, or any other classification in use. And finally, 3, provide details of the geographical area covered by the Tavevo Water and Sewerage Company, and if possible, attach the map. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Richard Onyonka. That statement is dropped. Senator Onyonka had 2 statements. Both of them are dropped. Senator Alan Chesang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to read out a statement on behalf of Senator Alan Chesang, a senator of Trans Nzoia County. Honorable Speaker, this is a request for a statement on the opening and operation of bank accounts by the County Executive of Trans Nzoia County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the opening and operations of bank accounts by the County Executive of Trans Nzoia. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide a list of all bank accounts operated by the County Executive of Trans Nzoia, stating the purpose of each bank account, the respective opening and closing balances for the 2023-2024 financial year, opening balance for the 2024-2025 financial year, as well as balance as at 1st October 2024. 2, report on whether the due process was followed in the opening of the bank accounts
providing evidence that all necessary authorizations required under the Public Finance Management Act and other relevant legislations were granted. 3, provide a list of all projects funded from these bank accounts, indicating the status of completion for each project. 4, disclose details of all short-term bank loans and overdrafts taken by the county executive in the 2023-24 and 2024-25 financial years, providing justification for each bank facility and stating the applicable annualized and monthly interest rates as well as the total interest cost. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, indicate whether the county executive sought and was granted approvals by the County Assembly of Trans Nzoia to take the short-term bank loans and overdrafts, and if not, provide reasons for the same. Senator Alan Chesang, Senator for Trans Nzoia County.
Senator Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have two statements, very important statements. Allow me to read concurrently. Mr. Speaker, a request for statement on the indefinite closure of Moi University. Mr. Speaker, and yours truly is an alumni of Moi University. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Education regarding the indefinite closure of Moi University due to prolonged industrial strike by workers over alleged mismanagement of the university. In the statement, committee should, 1, report on the current financial status of Moi University, providing reasons for the delayed payment of salaries, failure by the university to remit third-party deductions of more than Kenya shillings 4.1 billion. Mr. Speaker, number 2, state the amount of money received by the university from the government in the financial year 2024-2025 financial year, indicating the student enrollment at the university, particularly under the new university funding model framework. Mr. Speaker, number 3, provide a list of all assets, including commercial properties, land and estates owned and managed by the university, indicating the market value of each asset. Number 5, disclose all liabilities of the university, providing details of the sale agreement for the purchase of Rivertex East Africa Limited by the university, which is alleged to have been financed by a Kenyan shillings 3 billion loan. Mr. Speaker, number 5, state reasons for the delay resolution of the industrial strike by workers of the university, explaining how the government plans to address the situation and providing timelines for the reopening of the university. And finally, Mr. Speaker, clarify whether students will be compensated for the reporting to school or to the university as scheduled and incurring costs, yet no learning as occurred, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the final statement, request for a statement on the status of digitization of government services. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Information, Communication and Technology regarding the status of digitization of government services for enhanced transparency, efficiency, and accessibility in line with the Kenya's digital transformation agenda. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should, 1, outline the standards used to assess the readiness of government services for digitization, as well as criteria used to prioritize the services to be digitized by government. Mr. Speaker, number 2, disclose the criteria used to evaluate the success of the ongoing digitization of government services, disclosing the strategies deployed to enhance performance, as well as the contingency plan for when the set targets are not achieved within the established timelines. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, state the challenges encountered so far during the digitization process, explaining how the experiences have informed future plans. Mr. Speaker, number 4, outline measures put in place to safeguard sensitive personal data uploaded on the digital platform provided in this service. As Mr. Speaker, finally, explain steps taken to bridge gaps in digital literacy among Kenyans and to address the challenges faced by people living with disabilities, PWDs, to ensure and enhance equitable access to digital government services. I hope Senator Crystal is listening to this part. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Senate Majority Leader.
This is a statement by the Senate Majority Leader on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 29th October 2024, pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to this standing order, I hereby present the business of the House for the Senate the week commencing 29th October 2024 on Tuesday. Mr. Speaker, sir, the status of the legislative business before the Senate is as follows. A, 58 bills are pending conclusion, of which 40 are at the second reading stage, while 18 are at the committee of the whole. B, 32 motions are pending conclusion. C, 25 petitions are pending conclusion, of which 19 are due for reporting by the respective standing committees, and D, 424 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1. As honorable senators are aware, in accordance with the calendar of the third session, the Senate is scheduled to proceed on recess from 1st of November 2024 until 11th of November 2024. With that in mind, I urge all honorable senators to prioritize plenary sittings in the chamber to ensure that we make progress on the business highlighted above. Mr. Speaker, sir, on Tuesday, the 29th October 2024, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business for the week. The tentative business, Mr. Speaker, for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting on Wednesday, 30th October 2024, will include the scheduled questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions, whose summary is as follows. A, question number 35 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Dr. Bonnie Khalwale, CBS MP. B, question number 36 to Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Dr. Bonnie Khalwale, CBS MP. C, question number 48 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Professor Thomas Ojenda, Senior Counsel, MP. Question number 52 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Beatrice Ogola, MP. Question number 53 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing, and Urban Planning by Senator Beatrice Ogola, MP. Question number 64 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Dr. Bonnie Khalwale, CBS MP. Question number 071 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Public Works, Housing and Urban Development by Senator James Mrango, MP. Question number 82 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Planning by Senator Mwenda Kataya, Mofaya, MP. Question number 94 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development by Senator James Lomenen, MP. Question number 95 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya, MP. Question number 98 to Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development by Senator Edwin Sifuna, MP. Question number 100 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Garangu Thangwa, MP. Question number 107 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS, MP. Question number 111 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator George Mbugua, MP. Question number 115 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Catherine Mumba, MP. And finally, question number 119 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development by Senator Hamida Kipwana, MP. The business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 30th October 2027 will include business not concluded on the order paper for 29th October 2024 and the following. A, bills. Bill number 1, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood Bill, Senate Bills number 41 of 2023. 2, the Local Content Bill, Senate Bills number 50 of 2023. The Early Childhood Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 54 of 2023. The Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 40 of 2022. The Intergovernmental Relations Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 12 of 2024. The Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2023. The National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bills number 24 of 2023. The Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 53 of 2023. The Political Parties Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 26 of 2004. And finally, the Election Offences Amendment Bill 2, Bill, Senate Bills number 28 of 2004. B, Mr. Speaker, bills at the second reading stage. 1, the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2024. The County Government's Elections Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2024. The County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 3 of 2024. The County Civic Education Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2024. The County Statistics Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2024. The Provision of Sanitary Towels Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2024. The Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, and the County Assembly's Pension Scheme Bill, Senate Bills number 14 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, C is on motions. 1, report of the Standing Committee on Energy on its inquiry into the liquefied petroleum gas explosion in Muradi area, Embakasi, Nairobi City County. 2, report of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on an inquiry into the welfare of workers in export processing zones in Mombasa and Kilifi counties. Report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relationship on its inquiry into the personal security concerns raised by the Honorable Philomena Kapkori, Deputy Governor, Trans Nzoia County. Reports of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Vihiga and Bungoma counties arising from statements sought by Senator Godfrey Osoti, MP, and Senator David Wakoli, MP. development of a policy and law for social risk management in the infrastructure development projects in Kenya, and consolidation of bursary funds for equitable access to education in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the projected business for Thursday, 31st October 2024 will include business not included in the order paper for Tuesday, 29th October, Wednesday, 30th October 24th, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and hereby lay the statement on the table of the Senate on behalf of Honorable Aaron Cheriot, MGH, MP, Senate Majority Leader, today, 24th October 2024. Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for 15 minutes. We may have to agree the time per senator speaking to 2 minutes. So I'm going to allow comments for 15 minutes, each senator speaking for a maximum of 2 minutes. Yes, Senator Maruma.
Yeah, when the statement by the majority leader was being read, he kept referring to the Committee of Lands, Public Works and Housing and Urban Development. What I would want to clarify is whether that committee has been changed, because ordinarily the committee is Lands, Environment and Natural Resources. I just wanted that clarification. Thank you, Chair.
Chair. Yes, Senator Fernandi.
Mr. Speaker, just a quick one. You remember in August 2024, I did table a letter that I had written to Parliamentary Joint Services, Mr. Speaker, and I have not received any feedback, noting that the Senate is on the session and National Assembly is not, and the services are very slow, Mr. Speaker. You remember early this week, when we resume on Tuesday, the health club was closed. Mr. Speaker, the food is not available, Mr. Speaker. You remember when we had power outage, we were told somebody who had the key to the generator was not in the house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to seek your guidance. Even I have noticed, Mr. Speaker, can you believe this? In the Facebook page called Parliament of Kenya, they carried a story that the Speaker of National Assembly attended the celebrations of Mashuja, but they didn't include even your picture or even mention that you are part of the attendees, including our majority leader, Mr. Speaker. So we are wondering whether this Parliamentary Joint Services is only working for the National Assembly. Because, Mr. Speaker, whenever we are in session, even to get a cup of tea, Mr. Speaker, here it is like we are not part of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I think it is the high time that Parliamentary Joint Services must be disbanded, because it is unconstitutional, it is illegal. Mr. Speaker, when exchequer releases are made, let it be subdivided between the Senate and the National Assembly. We have you, Mr. Speaker, and we believe in you and the clerk and the House leadership to protect us, Mr. Speaker. We are subject to ridicule. When you go even to health club, Mr. Speaker, you are not given proper attention. Simply, they assume when National Assembly are not on session, the Parliament is not sitting, Mr. Speaker. Even small things like updating in Facebook that we are part of the people who accompany the president. Mr. Speaker, do you know it can undermine some of us politically, including you, people imagining that you are not loyal, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm just mentioning, and I need direction, Speaker, on my letter that I tabled and I discussed with you, Mr. Speaker, that I needed to know from Parliamentary Joint Services, the security layout. You remember there was a security breach to this house, Mr. Speaker, on 26 June 2024. No one gave us security layout. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the insurance cover in terms of repairs of the chambers of this house, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request members, Mr. Speaker, that we must be together in this. Parliamentary Joint Services is undermining Senate, and no wonder they are sponsoring a bill of even abolishing the Senate, Mr. Speaker. You have seen the JLAC of National Assembly are coming up with a bill to abolish us. We are facing an imminent threat, Mr. Speaker, so I need your direction so that this House can be accorded the dignity and the respect, and in fact, so that we can discharge our work, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Senator Fernandi, that matter was discussed during the Senate Business Committee meeting, and stern instructions were given to make sure that the services are offered without any interruption, despite the fact that the National Assembly is on recess. So if there are any instances that honorable senators are getting services that are not up to standards, then we can pick those specific complaints and handle them. Let's make progress, honorable senators. Yes, when when you're given opportunity to make comments in the statement, you can incorporate that, because we need to make progress. Senator Olekina, if you wish to use your 2 minutes. Order, honorable.
Thank you,
Senator.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandi. So if you wish to use your 2 minutes on what has been raised, it's up to you.
Mr. Speaker, I think my 2 minutes are important to be used on matters. I wish to comment on the statement by Senator Hamida on the status of Mama Lucy Hospital. Mr. Speaker, in your communication this afternoon, you indicated to us that the National Assembly has rejected the amendments to the DORA that we proposed. Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the members who we will appoint to be able to go to the mediation committee, let us remain focused, because we need money to go to our hospitals. We do not want a situation where 3 or 4 parents are sharing a bed. So,
Order,
Mr. Speaker,
honorable Senator,
I really would like to plead with our colleagues here that this time around we need to be able to think about how we can ring-fence money to be able to support our hospitals. In my county of Narok, we have a hospital which was funded by the World Bank. It is not complete. We need to prioritize what our priorities are, and healthcare should be one among them. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that this statement, and I sit in the Health Committee, we can actually be able to discuss how to ring-fence money. We need to improve the bed capacity. There was a point when people were talking about Mama Lucy only having 216 beds. That was increased a little bit. But the population, people are migrating. There's a lot of rural urban migration into the city. So with that in mind, we have to think of the house that protects devolution, the house that protects the healthcare, and we find a way to reduce the money which is allocated to the Ministry of Health, because the budget allocated to the Ministry of Health is almost 6 or 7 times the amount of money which is allocated to county governments.
Senator Matthew.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to comment on the 2 statements that have been sought by our brother, the Senator for Nandi. And Honorable Speaker, I think I'll start with this statement that has been sought on the indefinite closure of Moi University. And as the Committee on Education looks at the particulars that have been raised by the Honorable Senator, Honorable Speaker, if there is one part of what we as government or what we in leadership must really focus and put our energies on is on education. Because, Honorable Speaker, it is education that equalizes most of us, and it is education that has brought most of us here. I am happy that this statement has been sought by an alumni of Moi University. And the particulars of what have been sought here, I would be particularly interested, and I don't know whether, Honorable Speaker, this could also be extended to the Committee on Labor, because one of the issues that have been raised here, a very pertinent issue, is the prolonged industrial strike by workers. If there is one aspect of this statement that I would really want to see how the committee would deal with, is the state of the amount of money received by the university, from the government in the financial year 2024-2025. These guys are too noisy. Indicating the student enrollment at the university, and particularly under the new university funding framework. Honorable Speaker, Moi University is a big university. The enrollment is actually very massive. Would be wondering if a university that has such a huge enrollment is struggling in its running and they can be closed indefinitely because their workers are not there. What would become of the other smaller universities that do not have as big enrollment as Moi University. So this is a matter that is pertinent. I'm sure I would be happy to be informed by the senator from Uasin Gishu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and Senator for Nyandarua for allowing me to inform him that actually Moi University is no longer the university with the highest enrollment. In fact, as we speak, Moi University has the least number of students with only about 4,600 students as we speak today. Thank you very much.
Honorable Speaker, that is actually very relevant information, Honorable Speaker, because Moi University has been listed as one of the giants, academic giants that we have around. That is why it has given us the people who lead this House, led by the Leader of Majority, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, and it is very sad that it has sunk.
Yes, one minute, Senator Matthew. 1 minute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Speaker. It is very sad, Honorable Speaker, that a giant at the level of Moi University has sunk to its being closed for indefinitely for this long, and this matter cannot be addressed. We need to understand what exactly is happening to Moi University, and it must be looked into the root. I've seen that they even have a loan of up to a tune of 3 billion. We need to understand, Honorable Speaker, how they secured this kind of a loan, how they spent this kind of money, what they did with Rivertex East African Limited, and these are issues that would make such an institution sink this deep. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, every time I stand here, I've always implored on my colleagues to always remember that we exist in a certain context. You cannot be tone deaf. On an afternoon when somebody has just brought a statement here on the dire state of affairs at the Mama Lucy Hospital in terms of the capacity to hold our women giving birth, then members stand up and start claiming that they have not been able to access a tea or mandazi or a health club. Honorable Speaker, as a member of the SBC, I am going to be pushing very hard that the conduct and pronouncement of certain members, even the bills that they bring before this House, they are costing the image of this House, Honorable Speaker, because those bills are tone deaf. How can somebody just stand up out of nowhere, propose a constitutional amendment to extend his own term when he's here and he was elected for 5 years? And then the rest of us are supposed to be dragged through this shame because people are looking for clout, bringing very useless bills here instead of addressing the things that are facing Wananchi, Honorable Speaker. Which is why I want to encourage our colleagues, because the majority of the members of this House know what brought them to this House. Some of us have never even gone to a sauna. A Bukusu man like myself, what is a sauna? I don't know. That is not why I was sent here. I was sent here to bring money for the people of Nairobi so that the governor can complete the new maternity wing at Mama Lucy. So, Honorable Speaker, these members who repeatedly bring shame to this House by bringing up ridiculous ideas, ridiculous thoughts, and painting them as if they are the thinking of the entire House, we need to call them out, Honorable Speaker. This is not why we were elected.
Yes, very good.
Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I wanted to comment, Mr. Speaker, on the statement from the Senator of Trans Nzoia on the numerous bank accounts that that county has. Mr. Speaker, the same fate is befalling Tana River County. Mr. Speaker, Tana River County has 34 accounts that the executive operates. And Mr. Speaker, this is contrary to the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act. And even the Auditor General has called them out. But so far, Mr. Speaker, the executive has not tried, even attempted to close down some of those accounts. So, Mr. Speaker, I am asking the relevant committee, when they are dealing with the issue of Trans Nzoia government, they should as well deal with Tana River County, Mr. Speaker, with a view to closing down and bringing the relevant officers to account. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa pia fursa hii
kuchangia taarifa, maombi ya taarifa yaliyoletwa na Seneta Hamid. Mheshimiwa Spika, masuala ya afya yanazidi kudorora katika kaunti zetu, na Mama Lucy sio pekee ambapo huduma zimelemaa na ukosefu wa fedha. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunapozungumza katika hospitali ya Mrima Likoni, Mombasa County, kina mama ambao wameweza kujifungua, Mheshimiwa Spika, wameweza kuzuiliwa katika hospitali hiyo kwa sababu hawajalipa gharama za kujifungua katika hospitali hiyo. Mheshimiwa Spika, itambulike kwamba mradi wa Linda Mama ulikuwa unasaidia kina mama kujifungua katika hospitali zetu, na mbali na kwamba walikuwa hawalipishwi, vile vile walikuwa wakitoka hospitali wanatoka na zawadi ndogo ndogo ambazo zinasaidia maisha yao. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna umuhimu wa hili swala la afya kuangaliwa kwa undani zaidi, kwa sababu kila tunapochelewa kumaliza masuala ya dora, ina maana fedha zitaendelea kuchelewa katika kaunti zetu na huduma zitaendelea kudorora. Mheshimiwa Spika, malipo pia ya NHIF ambao sasa imeitwa shift pia yameweza kusimamishwa kwa sababu hospitali hazilipwi malimbukizi ya pesa ambazo zimeweza kudaiwa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna umuhimu wa waziri wa afya kuja hapa katika bunge hili kueleza ni kwa sababu gani mradi wa Linda Mama umeweza kusimama, na vile vile ni lini watakapolipa pesa za NHIF, malimbukizi ya pesa za NHIF, ili hospitali zetu ziendelee kutoa huduma kwa wananchi bila matatizo. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Veronica Maina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to support the statement brought to the floor of this House on the state by Senator Hamida on the state of the facilities at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital. Honorable Speaker, it is terrible to imagine, Honorable Speaker, that hospital is so overcrowded that mothers who are giving birth have to share beds, Honorable Speaker. And maybe for a man, they may not understand what kind of an experience women have when they are delivering babies, Honorable Speaker. And I think, Honorable Speaker, if a budget was to be directed to any facility in this republic, it must look at the maternity wings that are in this nation, Mr. Speaker. I would urge the governor of Nairobi, together with the national government, to ensure that Mama Lucy is supported by an independent maternity wing, which is full-fledged, Honorable Speaker, with full facilities to support mothers and to ensure that we can reduce the infant mortality rate and we can make giving birth a very safe experience for the mothers, Honorable Speaker. And giving birth to a Kenyan child is a sacred duty, Mr. Speaker. Giving birth to a Kenyan child is a sacred duty that must be fully supported and fully given the care, the due regard and the care that mothers should have. And I would urge all hospitals in all counties, 47 counties, where women are being held back because of hospital bills after giving birth, should be released forthwith, and no woman should be held in hospital because they are not able to pay for their maternity bill charges right away, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
No. Allow me to make the following communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting teachers and students from Kalyongwet Secondary School in Kericho County. The delegation comprises 2 teachers and 14 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will allow the Majority Leader under 1 minute to extend words of welcome.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join you in welcoming these students of Kalyangwet Secondary School. That's in Soensigawet Sub-County, Mr. Speaker, very close to my home. I hope in their visit to the Senate, Mr. Speaker, they've had opportunity to learn about business as we transact it. They are very lucky, Mr. Speaker, because this afternoon they'll get an opportunity that many visiting delegations don't get, which is to see us actually legislate and pass laws. We are about to do the third reading, Mr. Speaker, or to vote on a mediated version of a bill, the sugar bill, Mr. Speaker. And these students come from a sugarcane growing area. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope it will be a welcome lesson to them and they'll appreciate the art of lawmaking. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable senators. As directed, we will interrupt debate on order number 8 and move to order number 9. Upon conclusion of division, we will resume debate under order number 8. Clerk, proceed to call that order.
Order number 9, motion, report of the Mediation Committee on the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bills number 34 of 2022. Mover to reply.
Are you the mover?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the mover of the motion is accompanying the President to an official function, and I was a seconder. I therefore request that I be allowed to reply. Mr. Speaker, sir, this particular motion has captured the imagination of this House, and very many senators, in fact, all of them have spoken in support. The senators who come from Tana River, from Kwale, from Kisumu, from Homa Bay, from Busia, from Kakamega, from Bungoma and Trans Nzoia are indeed indebted to you. These are the counties that host 8 million Kenyans whose livelihood is the sugar industry. We also want, on behalf of the business people who are involved in regular and legal importation of sugar, we want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker, all other stakeholders, including the motor industry, the border industry, the school children who live on this particular industry are indeed very grateful. Mr. Speaker, 400,000 small-scale farmers have been at risk because of this particular law called the AFA law, and with this amendment, all this has been righted, and I thank everybody, and Mr. Speaker, I wish to reply. Thank you very much.
Now, Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for 2 minutes. Now, honorable senators, this is a matter that affects counties, and therefore voting shall be by delegations. Now, Senator Mariam and Senator Beatrice Akinyi, you'll be given rights to vote. So you'll vote from your seat. You don't have to come to the dispatch. Sergeant at Arms, you may now close the door and draw the bar. Honorable senators, please kindly take your seats so that I put the question before you vote. Senator Olekina, kindly take your seat. Now, honorable senators, I will now put the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Mediation Committee on the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bills number 34 of 2022, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, the 22nd of October 2024, and further that pursuant to Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 167(3) of the Senate, approve the mediated version of the bill. Now, before you vote, just log out, and Sergeant at Arms, kindly pick any unattended cards. Senator Funyamira. Senator Funyamira, Senator for Kilifi. We have not suspended our standing orders. Sergeant at Arms, if you are done collecting the unattended cards, honorable senators, you may now log back and proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, the result of the division is as follows. Ayes 27, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it. Sergeant Tams, you may now open the door and withdraw the bar. So, Honorable Senators, we shall resume debate on the statements. Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity, and I wanted to make a quick comment on the statement by Senator Mida on the pathetic and deplorable status of Mama Lucy Hospital. Mr. Speaker, currently in Mama Lucy Hospital, there is a new maternity wing that is being developed with 120 beds. This maternity wing that is being developed, Mr. Speaker, has got a vision of 2 operating theaters. It has got 6 delivery beds. It has got 10 burn units, Mr. Speaker. There is 60-bed maternity lounge for preterm babies, Mr. Speaker. And if you look at the amount that this new maternity wing is being built at, Mr. Speaker, is about 344 million, Mr. Speaker. And in last year's financial year, they only got 70 million. What is the problem in this case, Mr. Speaker? It is simply an issue of money. And I think that this is the time that the Senate must stand with the whole hospitals across the country and make sure that those who will be sent to mediate the DORA bill, Mr. Speaker, ensure that we give counties money and we don't go below 400 billion. Because the key issue here is this, Mr. Speaker. Money going to counties, Mr. Speaker. In fact, there is a stalled NMS neonatal ICU unit in Mama Lucy, Mr. Speaker, and it mirrors the ongoing stalled project that we see across county hospitals, Mr. Speaker. Even in Migori County, there comes a time that you realize that even paying bills as simple as electricity bills, Madam.
Senator.
Mr. Speaker, as I stand to support the statement, Mr. Speaker, I beg that I be added 1 minute for the sake of all the unborn children out there, Mr. Speaker, including the one that I carry, Mr. Speaker. Just 1 minute. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, it really pains me to be the individual that actually says that I'm disappointed, Mr. Speaker, not only in the county government of Nairobi, because Governor Sakaja is a governor under UDA, my party, Mr. Speaker. And I am disappointed because time and time again, when we bring issues that are dealing with women, that are dealing with children, and particularly women, Mr. Speaker, I feel as though we are talking to people who are not hearing us, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and I say this, I'm carefully just trying to put out the issues without being political, Mr. Speaker. But Kenya Kwanza, we signed a women charter, Mr. Speaker. And in that women charter, we promised the women of Kenya, 27 million of them, Mr. Speaker, because that is the population of females. We promised that we are going to deliver maternal health care, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, when you look at the images coming from Mama Lucy and the images that are coming from other hospitals when it comes to maternal health care, Mr. Speaker, it is very sad. And Mr. Speaker, the reason I asked for 1 more minute is because as much as this is an issue of funds and county allocation, Mr. Speaker, as a national government, Kenya Kwanza, we actually have an intention to address the women of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Until today, you know, we don't even have a minister of gender, Mr. Speaker. This is how much we think about women, Mr. Speaker. It is like those are not issues that should be, you know, discussed, Mr. Speaker. There is hope. I want to ask Governor Sakaja to remember that Pumwani had the same problems. And Pumwani Hospital, where I am actually, that is where I attend my antenatal clinics. Pumwani Hospital has actually made the turnaround, Mr. Speaker. From all the horror stories that we used to hear, Pumwani Hospital has tried and made an intentional approach, Mr. Speaker. I urge Governor Sakaja to perhaps go and sit with those people in Pumwani if they need to benchmark, so that they can do something, so that in this Mama Lucy facility where we are talking about beds and the facilities that are there, Mr. Speaker, it is also an issue of understanding how many people are they serving and how to ensure that the women like me who are pregnant, who are waiting to deliver, and I like what Senator Veronica said, that our duty to bring forth life. Mr. Speaker, ask for 1 minute on behalf of the women.
Third one now.
Okay.
You have 3 seconds to conclude the third one.
Mr. Speaker, 3 seconds, even as we deliver.
Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on the statement by Senator Cheregei regarding the status of Moi University. Mr. Speaker, it is sad to hear what is happening at Moi University, being one of our premier universities in this country. But I want to say that I think the status of Moi University should actually inform us as politicians not to interfere with the education institution. Mr. Speaker, we remember one Professor Labanairo, who is my constituent, a very renowned professor, wanted to turn around Moi University. But he was just ejected from that university because of tribalism. And now, the professor has converted Daystar University to be the Kenyan equivalent of Harvard University. So that tells you, as leaders, we should stop interfering with the running of our universities and make them purely academic without any political interference, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I've heard the senator for Vihiga making allegations that Professor Airo was chased out of Moi University because of tribalism. Understanding Order 105, Honorable Speaker, because that university falls squarely in my county. I am a politician from that county. Can he substantiate? And what is the place of interviews in terms of selection of vice chancellors in this country?
Senator Osotsi,
Mr. Speaker,
kindly proceed to substantiate.
Mr. Speaker, the senator for Uasin-Gishu should first of all declare conflict of interest in this matter. Because when the good professor from that university, Mr. Speaker, Professor Labanairo is my constituent. I have a right to defend him, Mr. Speaker. So, and I'm ready to defend him anywhere, including on the moon.
Senator
Mr.
Osotsi,
Speaker.
you know, you've made one more allegation. One, the first one was that the good professor was chased away of the university on tribal basis. That's one. Secondly, that the senator for Uasin-Gishu County, Senator Mandago, actually directly was involved in chasing away the professor. You need to substantiate those two allegations.
Mr. Speaker, what I'm talking about is facts, and the truth will set you free. I am ready to substantiate. It is common knowledge that Senator Mandago was the then governor of Uasin-Gishu, and together with the then senator, they participated in ejecting Professor Labanairo from Moi University. And I'm ready to substantiate, Mr. Speaker. Next week, I'm ready to substantiate.
Order, I think Senator Osotsi
I would
has
like
requested for next week.
Boni Khalwale to inform me.
Yeah, Honorable Osotsi has requested for time so that he can substantiate. So Senator Osotsi will proceed to substantiate next week.
Mr. Speaker, I'm ready to substantiate, and I want Dr. Boni Khalwale to inform.
All right. You can proceed to inform Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Senator of Vihiga for accepting to be informed. Senators, we should recall that a few days ago, we voted to remove Deputy President and tribalism was on the card. Mr. Speaker, a video has been doing rounds, and the person depicted is the senator of Uasin Gishu, former Governor Mandago. And Mr. Speaker, in that video, it is recalling the role he played in removing Professor Ayiro. Mr. Speaker, sir, because of the seriousness of tribalism, we should call out the senator of Uasin Gishu. Mr. Speaker, I was in this house. I remember we moved a motion, and we called out.
Honorable.
I'm informing.
Honorable senators. Senator Boni, take your seat. Senator Boni, take your seat. Order, 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 honorable senators. Senator Fernandi, you cannot rise on a point of order against a point of information. Now, honorable senators, allegations have been made, very serious allegations, by the Senator for Vihiga. He has requested for time to enable him substantiate. Senator Boni, that does not amount to information, the one you're passing. And I have not had the advantage of looking at the video, so you cannot even refer to it. So we will allow Senator Osotsi to substantiate next week. If you look at the standing orders, it's very clear. We go by standing orders, Majority Leader. So let's leave it there. Senator Osotsi, your time had run out. So we go to the Majority Leader. You may proceed to take your 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to speak about Mama Lucy, but now I've been distracted by the very unnecessary attacks on a colleague by none other than Boni Halwale. Mr. Speaker, you cannot allow that to remain on record. Discussing a colleague, the provisions are clearly provided for in our standing orders, Mr. Speaker. If Senator Boni Halwale wanted to discuss the conduct of Senator Jackson Mandago, it is provided for in our standing orders. Why are you allowing, Mr. Speaker, this to be a marketplace where I can rise and begin to discuss anybody, including your conduct? Mr. Speaker, that is not right.
Minority Leader.
That is not right, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, just take your seat. You'll resume your contribution. I directed, because 2 allegations had been made. One, that the professor had been ejected from Moi University based on tribalism, and the second allegation was directed to the senator for Uasin Gishu. And I directed Senator Osotsi to substantiate, which he sought time. So the issue of Senator Mandago being brought in here, we will hear the substantiation when we resume next week. As far as what the information the Senator for Kakamega was trying to help Senator Osotsi with, that does not amount to any information to be passed. Okay? And to the extent that it was not information helpful to Honorable Senator Osotsi, and to the extent that it touches on the conduct of one of the honorable senators in this House, then Senator Boni Halwale, you need to retract that statement and allow Senator Osotsi to come and substantiate on his allegations. Just retract and take your seat. No speeches.
Mr. Speaker, I can never retract that statement because it is a fact.
Okay, then, Senator Boni, you're out of order, and I will ask you to leave the chamber for the rest of today's sitting. Okay, Majority Leader, you may proceed.
Speaker, Thank you for granting Senator Boni Halwale a chance to enjoy his favorite glass of chang'aa early in the day. Mr. Speaker, can I quickly now...
Majority Leader, you are discussing the conduct of Senator Boni.
But he enjoys chang'aa, that is a fact.
Just retract that statement.
That is a fact.
Order, Honorable Senator, order. Majority Leader, proceed to retract that statement.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw chang'aa and replace it with his favorite drink, which is known anyway.
Senator, Majority Leader, conclude. You have 1 minute to go.
Mr. Speaker, quickly, now to more serious issues. Mr. Speaker, I want to add my voice to the issue of Mama Lucy Hospital that has been brought by Senator Hamida. Where Mama Lucy sits today, Mr. Speaker, is where I played football as a young boy, from the age of 2 up to the time I became an adult. The people being served in that particular hospital today are friends that I grew up with. If I was not a senator in this house, Mr. Speaker, perhaps that's where I'd be doing other duties as what has been brought about by this senator. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with the chairperson of the Health Committee to treat this matter with the urgency that is needed. If citizens of this republic are sharing 4 to 5 people, one hospital bed, Mr. Speaker, then the intervention of the county and the national government, Mr. Speaker, is urgently needed to alleviate the suffering that is being faced by these citizens. I beg Senator Mandago and his team of the Health Committee to treat this matter with the urgency that it deserves. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Honorable Speaker, I want to first, as I support Senator Amida's statement, I want to congratulate all the men in our lives, and especially this special man in the life of Senator Gloria Orwoba, that is going to give birth to a new Kenyan very soon. But, Honorable Speaker, my problem, Honorable Speaker, I keep wondering whether, is it fair that 60 years after independence, women have to deliver in distress, Honorable Speaker? There's 9 months that we go through being pregnant is distressed enough. Honorable Speaker, if 4 mothers or 2 mothers that have delivered are sharing a bed,